How's it going, guys? So I thought I'd make a quick video to follow up with that short that I made modifying the stock shocks on the TRX4Ms. I still have the stock shock on there, the spring. I still even have the clips on there, but I wanted just a little bit more ride height. And if you notice in that short, it gave me more height this way on the suspension. Didn't affect its usability at all. Didn't stiffen it too much or anything. Just gave it just enough height to be able to allow me to have a little bit more clearance and less tire rub and whacking immediately bottoming out. So I thought I'd show you what I did, take it apart, and show you the mods that I did that you can do. One, if you have old RC parts like this, these little mountain shocks that I had from my SCX24, but also I will show you little springs like this that I've made, and I'll show you that process on making those as well. So you can mod your shocks for very cheap. First, you're obviously going to want to take the wheels off. Now, I've previously taken this wheel off, and I'm only going to show you on one shock because it's the exact same across the board. So you're going to take the body off. There we go. Set that off to the side. And then I like to just lay it on its side and get my wrench. Now, something that I got from a comment from somebody else on there, which thank you, by the way, I had been using really crappy generic tools for quite a while, and I've always watched everybody using the fancy tools specific for RC, so I finally bought me a set, and they're coming this weekend, so I'm pretty jazzed about it. I think it's going to make this so much easier, smoother, and just, more efficient, because when you have a full-time job and you're a parent and you're doing other things, you gotta maximize the time you don't have. And I know there's a lot of you guys that are like that. And this lower part of the spring, for those of you guys that haven't taken them apart yet, this bolt, actually machine screw, goes through here and it actually attaches the bottom link of the forelink for the rear end. And it's the same for the front end as well. So I just set the bolts off to the side. Now, this spring here is really easy to take apart, just like the Traxxas, all of them are, and a lot of other name brand shocks. But you're just going to pull the spring back like this. You're going to set this down like so, and you'll push that little guy out. Set it off to the side so you don't lose it. And then that allows you to pull this large spring. Now, if you notice, I've already modified my spring, and I just want to show you what I did with it. So I took this part off. Simply took it off by just holding on to it with a set of pliers and then twisting like so until the end comes off. You are able to remove or add the spring for that. Now, the cool thing about these mountain shocks is they came with several different spring rates. They had a medium one, which is the one I put in here, this silver one. They had a copper one that was very stiff. And then inside here is the softest one, which I really liked on these shocks. They just didn't have a lot of travel. You can actually make springs, and I've made them before for my SCX24s. I've modified the shocks to allow me to get, just different spring rate. And so for those of you guys that want to watch that, I'll post that in a second video showing you how that is. But again, going back to modifying this, you'll put the spring that you choose. It's a small one in it. And what's nice about it, goes around that shaft real nice, like so. And then you just hold it on like that. And then you put the end of the heim joint back on. Well, I call them heim joints because working with four-wheel drives, that's what I know them as. But the end of the shock mount. And then you will hold the shock really good, twist it just like so till you get it nice and snug, and then it's literally just reassembly. So this little puck here goes one way. It's flat on one side and it's dished on the other. The dish side goes towards the end of the shock here. So you're going to put it on just like this, set it on there, of course after you put the spring back on. I almost did that, and I've done that lots of times. Thankfully, it's an easy process if you do forget, but you're going to just slip it back on, set it down, and your spring is done. And you got a little bit more spring rate. And for those of you guys that watched the short, it gives you a lot more, well, I mean a lot in far as terms of scale, but it gives you a lot more height. And I love the height, and it didn't change the rideability or drivability of the vehicle. And I'll post some videos of it moving on my new modular course that I'm making. I'm gonna put this back together. It's the exact same way, and I hope this video helps for those of you that are watching.